Hello and welcome to the Self Study Show. We're back with another personal development idea. We believe in personal growth by self-discovery. So, what we do is study personal development ideas, and each week we take a turn of choosing an idea and discussing it. So, today, Jer has come up with an idea. I'm going to hand it over to Jer, and I'm going to put the idea on the screen so you can all see it. Take it
Thank you
away.
very much, Ant. So before you can do something, you must, before you can do something, you first must be something. So this is just a small line, but it's got so much depth to it. So before you can do something, you must first be something. Because if you were already that person, you would already be achieving what you want to achieve. So before you can do something, you must be something. So this boils down to identity, basically. You must first become someone before you first must become that person in your own mind before you can achieve what you want to achieve. And let me elaborate on that a little bit. You set goals. You write out a vision. The person you are now can't be the same person who can achieve that goal. So this is where this line is very, very important. Before you can do something, you must be something. So when you write out a goal, or if you write out a worthy ideal, which is your roadmap, your final destination, you must, from a standpoint, try and become that person who can achieve those goals. Now, by doing that, you have to create a new identity, a new you. So inside of yourself, you've got a self-image of yourself, and that's where you are now, because you have a belief system which is keeping you where you are now. So to become this other person, you must first do something before you be something. So the doing something is writing out a new identity. It's scripting out who you want to be and how you want to act to become that person to achieve those goals. So again, going a step before your identity, you kind of have to figure out who you are. And a classic saying, like from Ant's book, who the hell are you? Because if you first discover who you are, what you like and what you want, and what like career path you want, and what maybe managerial job or what side business you want to do, if you first know yourself inside out, then you can set your goal, you can set your vision, and then you can look at your identity and go, right, I am, say an example, I'm on, I don't know, £50,000 in my career at the moment, or £40,000. I've set a goal and I want to earn £100,000. Well, I can't earn £100,000 because I don't know how to earn £100,000. If I knew how to earn £100,000, I would be earning £100,000. So I have to become the person who can earn £100,000 before I can earn that £100,000. And you have to do this by writing out your identity, scripting. You got to be the author of your own life. You got to script out your life, and then you have to start acting the part. but what else is also very important um, is using some of our creative faculties. One in particular, we have six creative faculties, and in our coaching course that me and Ant do one to one, we in our entry level coaching we explain all the creative faculties that you have within you, so you can create a better life for yourself. So if you use one of the creative faculties, which is your imagination, or two, sorry, imagination and your will. So if you write a goal, you're going to use your imagination to, create this goal, see this goal in your mind. And then you're going to use your will to hold that image in the forefront of your mind and keep all outside distractions away. So by holding that thought in your mind, you are before you can do something, you must be something. You're starting to be that person. You're using your imagination to create this better life. Example, earning £100,000 more than £40,000 in a year. And then you're going to use your will to hold that image in the forefront of your mind because you've created an identity. You've wrote out how you want to act when you have that money. How do you want to act? How does that person act when he has that money? How does that person act when I've achieved those goals? If I'm just a normal worker, how do I act when I'm a manager or a business owner or a director? So you have to write out your identity. You have to be something before you do something. And this is critically important. And because you can't just all of a sudden write down a goal, do a bit of visualization, and have it in a month. You have to create this character. You have to be something. You have to believe it from a standpoint. Hold that image in your mind of this person you want to become. And the more you do that, the more you use your imagination, the more you use your will, you'll create an image and it will create feelings in your body. Then you'll start to believe it. I am that person that earns £100,000 in a year. I'm not that person that earns £40,000 anymore. And things will start to change in your life then. The way you look at things will change because you're starting to change. Your awareness is now starting to change. You're starting to your goals are coming towards you and you are going towards your goals and you're going to meet in the middle. So yeah, it's very important. Before you could do something, you must first be something. You gotta hold that image in your mind. Use your will, one of your creative faculties. Write out your identity and be something before you do something. That's me for the first part. Ant, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, it's great what you've summed up there. I was just thinking through in my head when you were talking. I think the challenge most of us have is that we get stuck in the doing part. We want to do something and we go ahead and take action. And then we kind of think, well, once we've done it, then we'll act this certain way. I know someone I used to work with used to say things like, oh, if I had a lot of money, I would be really eccentric. And I used to always think to myself, well, no, you either are eccentric or you're not. Just because you got a load of money, it shouldn't really change your character. It's the same with this because that was an outcome, the money, whatever that was to him, was an outcome. It was a having. Because this here reminds me of Brad Sugars from Action Coach, his formula, which is be times do equals have. So the way Brad teaches this is that the have is the goal. So you've got to define what the have is. And then you've got to start from the be times do to have. Because, like he says, using his words here, you're a human being, you're not a human doing. So there's a lot in the be. The be is the being, the human being. you've got beliefs, you've got behaviors. So once you've got your have, your goal, your worthy ideal, whatever it is, then you've got to work out, well, what kind of person do I need to become in order to achieve that goal? And then once you've figured that out, then it's quite easy to do the doing part, which is taking the action to get you to whatever it is that you want to have. But of course, this saying here makes perfect sense because so many of us get frustrated with the doing. We might do all the practice, for example, take all the action, get frustrated, get overwhelmed because we're not seeing the result. And yet, someone with less talent than us who just believes they can do what we want to do will overtake us and do it. That's where the challenge is here. And this is why it's so overlooked. Thinking back to famous people, Liam Gallagher always springs to mind with this because he always said, I am a rock superstar, even when he was carrying bins. So he was already embodying that rock superstar in his head and his walk and everything like that. He just, that was more important than to him than the actual doing. Okay, don't get me wrong, he did a lot of work as well, practice, but he embodied the role first. So what we've got to do really is just emulate the actors of the world because an actor has the ability to be another character and they display that it's very possible for anyone to do that because they're human, they're no different to us. So if we want to have something different, then we need to be a different person who needs to do different things. But you're only going to get so far through doing because you must believe, you must have the behaviors. And I think a lot of us just get trapped in the doing. And then we think once we've done it or we get a lucky break, then we'll change and we'll act a different way. But that's all sort of back to front thinking, really. But you can see how you get involved in that thinking for sure. And like Joe said, this comes down to identity and your self-image, the image you hold of yourself, not the image that you see facing you in the mirror, the image you see with your inner eye. Joe mentioned the creative faculties. You have a self-concept, and within that self-concept, there are limitations that you've set for yourself with the help of others. But all of this can be re-scripted, re-changed, because all it is a story anyway. And if this current story can exist, which was made up, then a new story can exist. But of course, you can only sort of get to that point of acceptance once you've got the awareness of what's going on. Because without the awareness, you'll get to the full stop that most people get to, which is, I'm just this sort of person, or I'm not that kind of person who could achieve that. Some people can, some people can't. That type of language, which, to be honest, is just a lack of awareness of the powers that they have within inside of them. Because you can be, do, and have anything you want. But of course, getting back to you mentioned who the hell are you? That's why I wrote my book, because it is an entry point to personal growth. Because without knowing who you are, then you don't really know what you want to have. And I'm a living example of this because before I did this work, I owned a removals and storage company and I got some business coaching for that business. And the business coach asked me, well, what do you want out of life? And I just looked in my immediate environment and said, well, I want to build this business. So with his help, I built that business. And then once I built it, I realized, well, I didn't actually want to have this. And the more awareness I got, I was like, why did I get into this industry? And it goes back and back and back. This thing happened, that thing happened, that thing happened. But when I left school, my dad got me a job at a removals company. which I was grateful for using these contacts and everything like that. But it suddenly dawned on me that wasn't actually my decision to get into that industry. And I just got to the top of my game sort of within there. And that was what I thought I wanted because all of my dreams, my aspirations had just been piled upon through life that just gets in the way. So it was only when I started studying myself through self-discovery. This is why we believe in personal growth by self-discovery. Because the more you understand yourself, the more in touch you get with your truth and what you truly desire. And I didn't truly desire to build that business that I built. And when you get to that point, then you're more clear on what you want to have. Therefore, you can be the person that you were born to be, and you can take the action with confidence. You can move towards that ideal life with confidence. So that's the way I see this. Anything else, Joe?
Yeah. How are we going for time?
17 minutes. So we've got a.
Great. Yeah, really good points, mate. Really, really good points. And I want to elaborate on the um, the emphasis on really finding out who you are. And Ant's book is basically who the hell are you? And it is critical to really discover, self-discover. That's why we call this the self-study show, because we want you to take our ideas and elaborate on them and do your own thinking with it, because myself and Ant have been through this process. We have discovered ourselves, basically rediscovered ourselves, because we've evaluated our lives, and through our own thinking, we are now the orchestras of our own life. We are now creating our life based on our own thinking and our own decision making, which is, I think, the definition of living a purposeful life, because I am creating the life that I want to create. So I'm, doing exactly what we said, the being before we can do. I want to be a certain person who I deem to be successful. So I have to act this way. And I have wrote out my identity, and I have wrote out my goals and my worthy ideals. So we are doing what we preach because it works. It really does work. But you have to find out who you are first. You have to find out what you want, what makes you tick, and what makes you, what you really want in life. Because as Anne said, his dad got him the job as removals, in a removals company, and then he worked his way up. And that wasn't his decision making. And I have the exact same story. So my dad got me job in an electrical company, and I worked my way up to the top. They weren't based on our decisions. They were based on our family, who were doing the best for us at that time, and I'm so grateful for them because I had a career out of it. But it's not my own thinking and my own decision making. So it's vitally important you find out who the hell you are. And if you were to purchase Ant's book, you would find out who you are, because every chapter in that book is a step-by-step all the way to find out who you are. Everything is in there that you actually need to discover who you are, and it will bring your awareness up to the next level, and that's the starting point. It's the starting point of everything, is creating your awareness, because once you heighten your awareness, then your perception will change, and the way you look at things will start to change. And our perception, again, is another one of our creative faculties. So once your perception changes, then everything changes, because the way you look at things changes, and everything looks at you differently. So your whole world then changes, and for the better, for the much better. And you start then, and like I said before, you start to create your life. And that's what all this, what we're on about, is trying for you to create your life based on your thinking and your decision making. I can't emphasize how important that is, because once you start doing that, you get a bit more inner peace, a bit, you get more in harmony with what, as you as a person, um, and you live a bit more happier life because you've created it. So I'm going to wrap that one up now, Ant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Anything else to add on that?
absolutely spot on what you're saying. Success is personal. So
Very.
don't let anybody tell you what success is or looks like, or whether your Instagram feed's telling you what success looks like. That you've got to define it for yourself. That's where the true happiness comes in. And we talked a little bit on identity. And like Joe said, we work one to one with our clients, helping them redefine a whole new identity. But just to wrap this show up, let me just give you one thing that you can implement right away when it comes to your identity. Once you decide what you want to have, then break that down into all the minute sort of characters where you need to show up. So let's say you want to start an online business, for example. To just put down online business owners quite broad. So if you could break that down into the roles that you do have to play, so you might have to play a marketer, a social media video maker, a blog copywriter. So straight away there, you've got three little identities you could just write down in a notepad. Get a notepad purely for identity, write nothing else in it. One page, just put the social media influencer, and then write a whole page on how you need to show up or you want to show up on social media. Another page, the blog writer, and then write that down, and just continue doing it. Say you want to be a coach, the life coach, whatever it may be, write that down. And then you'll get really specific, and it's really quite enjoyable because you're kind of like writing as if a perfect world, like life is like a catalog of things and experiences that you can have. And it really gets you thinking creatively, but you will notice an immediate difference. It might be subtle, but you will notice it because that's how the mind works. Again, we go deep into how the mind works with our clients and in the book and everything like that. But as soon as you give your mind what's the word I'm looking for? Like an instruction,
Command.
a command, yeah, especially through writing, it will start working away, your subconscious mind.
It's
So
an
powerful.
expression of the subconscious.
Yeah. And it will change your world because basically your outside world is just a manifestation of your inside world. What's happening in your subconscious mind is manifested in the outside world. So let's wrap that up. Thank you
Yeah,
for
nice.
watching. We will see you in the next episode.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.